Alright, this is a response to Man Up Power Up's video. Um, is atheism a myth? In this video, he believes that he has disproven atheism because atheists have to have a belief. Well, he starts out by concluding that the atheist statement, "we know there is no God," as 100% belief, that atheists claim, we know there is no God. Well, 100% beliefs are hard to come by. I believe something, there's always a chance tomorrow that the thing I believe will have changed, or that my perception will have changed. And in effect, what I believe can change. So this is where I want to talk about the first logical fallacy that'll keep coming up, a false dichotomy. This is either all or nothing, 100%. You either believe it or you don't. It leaves no gray area for alternatives. The second bit here is you have the challenge of proving your statement, and when you start out with an argument like this, you start with your conclusion, and then you have to find evidence to support it. Well, because your conclusion's false, you have to find bad evidence to do it. So atheists need faith to claim for sure that there is no God. To do this, you change the definition of faith to be a belief in anything that you haven't personally experienced. So, yeah, if you put it like that, which is an incredibly butchered definition, an atheist can't exist. But then again, you're not describing an atheist. I mean, technically, you could have a person who only believes in their own experience, but they couldn't read a book, they couldn't have a conversation with someone and believe it if they have no faith, as your definition says. You see a problem with this. You say at one point either you know or believe, and if you know everything, and if you believe, then you have faith, and if you have faith, then you contradict atheism. The further this goes, the more logical fallacies that you have to use to try and prove your faulty conclusion and to try and keep up, and things tend to get messy, so I'm going to try and break this down. You use a false dichotomy to start off with, saying that either you believe or you know, leaving no, again, room for skepticism or any gray area. Then you say that you believe something, then you have faith, which is just wrong because you're expanding the definitions of faith and belief to just an insane proportion of everything you experience versus everything else that you're just taking on what you call faith, things you'd read in a book, conversations you'd have with people, and so on. But the key here that ties it all together, that makes it seem like a coherent argument, is that at the end is the true statement, is if you have faith, then it contradicts atheism. And this is correct and wrong. Because you've changed the definition of faith, this will work as a true statement from my perspective. If you have faith, a belief in God, then technically, no, it does contradict atheism. But your definition of faith is wrong. So this is kind of, that's where this heads off. Then we talk about the universe. You say that scientists say the universe is 20 billion years old, and from this you draw a couple conclusions. Either an eternal being created it, which leads to that paradox of who created the creator. It created itself, but through the law of conservation of mass, matter can't be created, so that can't happen. So you come up with your last conclusion that it's always been here. If atheists believe the universe has always been here, which I should point out that's just a theory, it's not actually tested. We can't test it. And we believe that God has always been here. You say our beliefs are the same. This is a stretch so that you can draw a conclusion that isn't there because these are similar. It's correlation implies causation fallacy. In debates, the burden of proof rests with the one making the claim. An argument like the existence of God is just an amazing claim, and it would require amazing evidence. The claim that the universe is 13.7 billion years old is because that's what the current science says. Through tests and practices, we know this, or we think we know it, but it's constantly changing. This latest one is through a NASA microwave probe, and we think it's the most accurate. That's how we conclude truths. But if we can't conclude truths, it's fine to say we don't know. There's no reason to throw a God of the gaps in there. I'll address God of the gaps here in a little bit. Just a little side note on the Big Bang. Before the Big Bang, which was the expansion of an object that was incredibly dense and was basically everything that we have now, there was no time. The Big Bang was not like a firecracker explosion. It was an expansion of space-time, or this is the theory. As for the cause of this, scientists are still, again, willing to say we don't know, we have theories, and it will probably never be proven. Saying that we don't know is not an illogical belief. However, saying that God did it or God always existed is an illogical belief. You say a little bit about Darwin's theory of evolution being the Bible. Well, Darwin's theory of evolution and origin of species explains much about how life evolved on the planet. Now, evolution is a non-falsifiable concept, but it's supported and continues to be supported by all the evidence. Because it can be tested and supported but never proven, it's still considered a theory. Now, that being said, don't let the language fool you. All the evidence supports it and nothing has ever been found to falsify it. But tomorrow we could dig up a bunny next to a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then the theory of evolution would be severely busted, or it would have to be revised. Something like mathematics is different. Theories and things that apply mathematics are often falsified and revised. Another non-falsifiable argument, like I pointed out, is the existence of God, which we're discussing. Anyways, besides that rant, my point here is that evolution actually has nothing to do with God. I mean, literally nothing. You can believe in God without believing in evolution or vice versa. This is a non sequitur logical fallacy. It does not follow. You say there are holes in our science. This is about God of the gaps, by the way. And that you have to fill these holes with faith if science hasn't reached a point where it can explain any further. This is a common false dichotomy. It basically says that if science can't explain it, then God did it. You wait a few years, our science gets better, theories improve, things are revised, and we gain knowledge. The God of the gaps gets smaller and smaller. An angry Zeus is not up in the sky creating lightning anymore. We know what happens. You actually close with the claim that you've proven that atheism contradicts itself and that there's nothing I can really say, but I can try. So this is my effort to prove that you can have atheism. Atheism is not a myth. I hope that I've helped you to clear this up. Peace.